This is Mörk Borg CVLT Heretic, the newest supplement to the doom-metalrific Mörk Borg role-playing system from Stockholm Cartel and Occult Earthmeister Games. And once more, just like Territory, this is a collection of fan-made stuff and original stuff, all beautifully illustrated, terribly illustrated by Johan Nohr. As you can see, the cover has this pretty cool foil effect right there. On the back we get a poem, maybe a spell that is really hard to read. And in there we start with a cult generator, which is really useful not only in Mörk Borg, but in many role-playing systems. A good cult with a charismatic evil leader or a charismatic good leader, whatever, makes for a great antagonist. I love my random table. Next up are the unheroic feats, and these are great. These are a number of feats you can acquire when you get better. You can either choose one, get them through story, or roll what you get, whatever works for your group. And these give you special abilities that are pretty colorful. And they are for use with the base class, with the classless characters. And I like this for two reasons. For one, they give the classless characters more to do. And two, by combining these feats, stats, and equipment, you can portray a wide variety of character concepts with the classless characters in Mörk Borg. So this is a great addition to the game system. New class, Secular Sangbird, Shedding Vicar. An adventure, Graves Left Wanting. So the characters start crawling from their own graves in the giant cemetery of Graven Tosk. It's a great concept. And I like the finale of the adventure, the ending, if you will. Bloat, another adventure from the cult. Short little dungeon crawl. Curses, what they do and how to get rid of them. The Merchant. This is a traveling merchant, sometimes on foot, sometimes in a cart. Cursed, so he can never die. This is a great concept, especially if you are playing it like I am. You're doing a campaign of one-shot adventures and just dungeon crawls. And your characters might never be able to visit a city to go shopping between adventures. And then this merchant is a great opportunity to give your characters the ability to spend their silver and get some neat trinkets and strange items, and also all of the standard items. Black powder weapons for the witch and foolhardy. They are very expensive, a bit hard to use. Presence D are 14 to hit, but they ignore armor. And they can cause a creature to roll a morale check. So they have their uses, and they're not just replacing your bow and crossbow. You've got big selection here, all the way from a pistol to a cannon. I love this. I'm a big fan of early firearms. Now, Sepulchre of the Swamp Witch. This is a great adventure scenario. It deals with a cult in a swamp, and it starts out with a snake guardian that demands to bite the characters to give them a hallucinogenic venom. And if the characters let themselves be bitten at the entrance, they get special hallucinations throughout the whole dungeon. Wherever it says EV, you find paths that are invisible if you're unaffected by the venom. So this opens up new paths throughout the dungeon. And that's just a great, very Mörk Borg-y concept, if you ask me. Your occult herb masters will have a field day with this adventure. Very last chamber, the downward spiral, also goes into the underworld. So this is an opportunity to lead into an even bigger dungeon, or go all the way to the veins of the earth and spend a few adventures in there, if you so wish. Look how it's laid out. How on each page you got a copy of the map in the corner. So you always exactly know where the characters are and how they get into the next room. That's very well done. We've got more monsters. And then we've got the rotten nurse final monster and a final adventure using the monsters that are presented. Another short dungeon crawl. With the latest release, we also got these icon box, and it's kind of a secret what's in here. I don't want to spoil it for you, but I can tell you it's not essential. It's a nice thing to have, a fun trinket to use in your game, but you won't miss much if you're not getting this. For this, I will have to zoom out. This is an adventure that is also a comic, and all in a poster format. I personally do not much care for this adventure. Obituary dungeon. But this poster on the back side, this is pretty cool. I think I'm going to hang this in my role-playing room. Maybe I can iron the folds out. That's always bothering me with posters such as this. Finally, they released a GM screen with some really nice artwork on the front that I really like. I've even gotten this one as a t-shirt. And on the other side, you've got everything you would expect in a GM screen. All of your rules, all of your tables. What is a bit special in here, you've got this little plastic corners in here that will hold GM screen inserts. So you can customize the screen, at least on the left and on the right, to whatever you need. And it's included with this tavern generator, this trap generator, the tables of obscurity, 40 city events. So what you can do is you can have this side in if you're running a city adventure, and the other side, this is actually more something you need when you're preparing an adventure. This as well, unless you want to do your dungeon completely on the fly. And this is better as a loot table. And we've also got an NPC generator in here. All in all, very useful GM screen. It is in this 5-fold design. It's big enough to roll behind and to hide your GM notes. It's actually very comparable in size to the standard landscape format D&D GM screen, but this one folds to the size of the Mörk Borg core rulebooks, or the size of any other Mörk Borg rulebook, which is pretty handy if you're throwing these in a bag to play a game somewhere out of your own dungeon. Let's take a look at these under UV light. I think it's not much going on here. Now under UV light, this dungeon actually becomes quite amazing. Yeah, really comes alive under UV. It's much more impressive. The GM screen, I guess it looks well enough on the outside. But surprisingly enough, on the inside, the contrast in the UV light is quite striking. And the color contrast between the inserts and the screen itself becomes more apparent. The book itself, are there any hidden messages you can only see in UV? There's not a whole lot going on in here so far. The yellow is always really striking under UV. Yeah, I feel from a UV perspective there could have been more this time around. So yeah, these are all of the new Mörk Borg releases. If you like this video, consider subscribing to my channel and giving it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching and goodbye.